It's good to have your company again. You're watching and listening to Breakfast with Stephen and Angela.
Let's have a look at the newspapers for you today. We'll start with the Times. Reports on Rishi Sunak preparing for a battle with the courts over plans to prevent migrants who've reached the UK illegally from appealing against their deportation.
The Mail gives light to Lancashire Police's assessment that Nicola Bulley may have fallen into a river after trying to retrieve her dog's ball.
The Eye looks at hormone replacement medication and a shortage which is impacting the lives of millions of women across the UK.
And the Telegraph reports on the government's declaration that online misogyny should be banned, as well as Lancashire Police's belief that Nicola Bulley may have drowned in a river.
In the Mirror this morning, we're told that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Celebrity special may have been shelved after female stars have refused to work with Jeremy Clarkson after those comments he made about Meghan Markle.
And finally, the Star says Psycho Owl is holding us hostage amid a series of attacks in the Black Country.
So let's go through those papers one last time with the writer Candice Holdsworth and radio and TV broadcasting legend David Hamilton. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
David, let's talk money, 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 should we, in the Times?
Yes, something that we touched on briefly earlier, and I think among all the gloom and doom that we've had in recent times, let's have something really cheerful. The FTSE has reached a record high. It's actually the highest that it's been since 2018. So that is great for pensions, it's great for stocks and shares, and it's great for the morale of all of us. So let's be like Boris and talk everything up.
It's 7,900,
yes,
I think,
yeah,
what they're quoting today. And actually, there was news yesterday from the Bank of England saying that they expect inflation to have halved, certainly by this time next year, and that they think they've also reached...
Do you think we've turned the corner? Do you think... I think perhaps we have.
That's above my pay grade to make that kind of prediction.
I mean,
but
nice, wasn't it?
It is nice to have good news financially, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. It's good for all of us.
Well, if all these companies are making more money and shareholders making more money, as well as the pension funds and all the rest of it, hopefully it means more investment, more growth, and it should all multiply.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
So we're very, very happy at GBNEWS on a Saturday morning.
Well, nice.
Yes.
Aren't we always? Aren't we always? What about, talking of money, actually, this is also in the Times, Candice. Universities and looking at refunds over lockdown degrees, not wanting to pay, obviously.
Yes, well, this is a really interesting story in the Times. So it's about this huge mass legal action that students who got their degrees under the lockdown are now requesting refunds for their degrees because they feel that their degrees were just such poor quality. All of it was done online. They never met any fellow students, and yet they paid full fees. Whereas at private schools, for instance, they discounted their fees. They were doing the online teaching, but they thought, okay, they're not getting the same experience, but the universities weren't like that at all. And I think there's a lot of students, particularly in the areas of art and science, where you need to be in the lab or in the studio, they didn't get that experience at all. One woman quoted in the article said she met about 90% of her students at their graduation. I mean, I can't imagine what a lonely, alienating experience it was doing your degree during lockdown.
And isn't part of the fun of going to university that you meet lots of other people? That's it.
Well, it is. Yeah. I think. I mean, honestly, surely this would be a pretty obvious case. You would think. I mean, if I was in that situation, I'd be wanting to join this action.
Yes, well, I think there's a hearing that's being carried out in the next few weeks with UCL. So we'll see how this goes, if maybe the students are going to be able to get refunds for their degrees. I think they should. I don't think it was right that the universities charged them so much. It really wasn't. Most of them left their degrees without having met a single student, no face-to-face teaching, and that's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Yeah.
They'll never get that back, ever.
No.
Also, talk of lecturers, I'm not sure if you mentioned this, but talk of lecturers going on strike as well. So, you know, I mean, they really haven't had their value for money, have they, at all?
No, not for $9,000 a year or whatever they're being charged.
Oh, it's a bit more than that.
Has it gone up now?
I think it's a fair amount, isn't it?
Yes.
It is. It's no good giving out figures because I don't have them at my fingertips. But I think some of the degree courses are considerably more than that.
Oh yes, for some master's degrees, it's about £27,000.
Exactly. Double figures.
Don't do a master's.
Huge.
A waste of time. A waste of time. Get a job.
Well,
dear me, not for that money.
That's why you're not the Secretary of State for Education.
That could be true. Could be true. Maybe a fair point in that. Now, what's Mr. Rod Stewart on about?
I like the Times Diary on a Saturday. I find it very entertaining. And there's a headline here, Rhapsodies in Blue. And Sir Rod Stewart's recent surprise appearance on a TV phone-in to call for a change of government reminded David Steele of the days before the singer was a Tory. Around 1977, he contributed to the Liberals, and he invited David Steele to his home in LA, where he lived with Britt Eklund. The former Liberal leader said that he sounded pretty clueless about politics. He said maybe Rod Stewart just liked the colour yellow. His songs always had a Tory hint about them. For example, Maggie May.
Yes.
First Cut is the Deepest. And Sailing, which was clearly written as a tribute to Ted Heath.
Well, that's one theory.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yes, it was interesting, actually, wasn't it, when he came out against the Tory party?
Yeah.
Having been, whether he knows diddly about politics or not, we've always associated him with the Tories, haven't we, really?
Yeah.
Rod?
Rod, yes.
I would think so, yes, but, you know, he's probably one of the many disillusions. Probably.
Quite a few dissolutions at the moment.
Right. Candice.
Yes, The Express.
Yes, so this is a story in The Express which is quoting the celebrity lawyer Nick Freeman, who's saying...
Oh, Mr. Loophole.
Yes, Mr. Loophole. So he's saying that possibly all dog owners should be licensed now after this spate of dog attacks, which everyone's been talking about. There was the dog walker who was very sadly mauled to death by the group of dogs she was walking. And I think there's also been a lot of attention paid to a spike, a recent uptick in children, for instance, being bitten by dogs. I would say most people think maybe that's a little extreme, that every single person should be licensed to own a dog.
What?
Dog walkers, yes, but I understand.
There used to be a dog license. You used to have to, I mean, you're too young to know this.
Well,
I'm
maybe,
old
yeah.
enough to remember that, I've had dogs all my life. And I haven't got one now, but you always had to go and buy a dog license.
Okay.
You needed a dog license.
Yes. I mean, I did think when I got my dog that no one asked me anything about myself when I got her. I could have been anyone. And dogs are living creatures, and they do deserve to be in good homes. So, you know, maybe there is an argument for tightening it up a little bit.
Yes, I think you and I were discussing this yesterday, weren't we, after the programme, and actually we both feel that in most cases, actually, it is the owners who need the training, because very often the dogs that commit these sort of horrendous crimes have not actually looked after their dogs properly or trained them properly, and that's when you get problems. You know, I spent a couple of days ago, I supported a charity called Support Dogs, which does precisely that. You know, these are dogs that support people who have autism, who are seizure alert dogs. They give 40 minutes warning to someone who might have an epileptic fit. They help disabled people. There are so many working dogs. How many times have we seen stuff on television about working dogs in the police force, sniffing out drugs and so on? Dogs do a fantastic job, just as companions in families. And you get all these terrible stories, and all at once, everybody has a negative opinion about dogs, but actually we should be looking at what the owners in many of these cases...
Yes, I agree.
It's funny, isn't it, how the number of dog attacks has increased in recent times. Nobody is quite sure why. You know, was it to do with lockdown? Was it that a lot of people got dogs during lockdown and didn't look after them and train them properly?
Maybe.
You know, things like that.
Maybe.
It's a great unknown, isn't it? But certainly on the increase.
David, we've down to our last sort of 90 seconds or so. Dare I ask you about The Sun and music videos?
Yes, indeed. Well, Ulrika Johnson, of all people, in her column in The Sun today, she says, I'm no prude. That may be a shock. But she says, but I'm easily shocked by Sam Smith, who's caused outrage in many quarters. Some are accusing the singer of hyper-sexualized dancing to the music video of I'm Not Here to Make Friends, and claim it is normalizing pornography. There are, now, steady, there are corsets, suspenders, and nipple tassels.
Oh, dear Lord.
I don't want to get you too excited earlier.
No, it's all right.
But anyway...
I'm left cold by that, David.
Yeah, there's thrusting in beds by both men and women in bondage underwear.
Oh.
So I think she's got a fair point, hasn't she?
But look at Madonna.
Huh? Well, yes, Madonna. Yes, fair point.
Been doing it for years.
Does it put you off your breakfast a bit?
Well, thankfully I'm not having any, but I'm glad I'm not having any. There you go.
David, thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much indeed. On that
Thank
note, it's
you.
been very good to see you both
Yes.
this morning. You're free to leave now.
Thank you.
You're released.